Guys, it is done.
So let's go over the inspiration behind why I built this garage. To start, when I was younger, I would hang out with my dad out in the driveway, helping him work on stuff from oil changes to brakes. Um, Everybody in my family has kind of been a do-it-yourselfer kind of person. And just at an early age, I learned really quick that when you're out in the elements trying to get something done because you have to be at work the next day or you've got plans that evening, it gets really, really tiring and really, really frustrating. And it's really, really stressful to get that stuff done. So that was one of the reasons why. And the other thing was is I started enjoying cars more and more, and I kept looking at nicer and nicer cars, realizing that I wouldn't be able to really just go out and buy one. I would have to build that stuff on my own. And to build that stuff on my own, I had to get really good at that, as well as have a space I could do this in. Because without a space that I can do this in, I'm just out in the weather trying to weld, and I mean, some of us have been there. It's not fun.
Okay, so let's go over some of the design choices that I made for building this garage. And remember, I've done almost everything myself with the help of some friends and family, mostly my dad, who I continue to drag into this, but that's besides the point. So you guys will notice that this garage door is massive. It is 18 feet wide by 10 feet tall. And it's one. A lot of garage, a lot of garages that are two-car garages, as this size is, are usually have two doors. I didn't want to have a center post in the garage just because it makes my job getting a broken down vehicle in here harder, or if it's been wrecked, it just makes it a lot harder. It's one more thing to try and get a larger vehicle in here as well. Um, the reason why it's so tall, I've got friends that have Jeeps, and nothing is more frustrating than having to pull wheels and tires off and going with a smaller wheel and tire just to get the vehicle into the shop so you can do work on it out of the weather. Um, the choice of the garage door was a kind of a massive oversight. I thought I was going to be able to get by with something that wasn't nearly as expensive. I was massively wrong by threefold, just to give you an idea on that one. Um, Next up on the design choices, you guys will notice that there's no center post in this garage itself. The reason behind that one is um, I don't want to have something in the way of where I can put my lift. I also didn't want to have something taking up more space while I'm working on an additional vehicle if I'm doing interior work or something minor that I don't need the lift. Right now, it's a little overloaded with tires because I have kind of a tire problem, I've been told by some of my friends, but that's again another topic entirely. Um, the other thing you guys will notice is that I've got this, like, the garage is nice. Like, I'm not even gonna lie about it. I'm not gonna hide it. It is a very nice garage from the trim to outlets everywhere. I've got outlets hanging up high so I can have lights hanging down. If I'm working something on a workbench, I can just flip a switch and it's there, it's ready to go. And it's painted, it's finished because I want something that is calm, something nice. I can come out here and relax after a rough day of work or try to calm myself down when something's not going well because we've all been there with that too. Okay, so let's talk about the process that I did helping build this garage, which is quite honestly the largest project I've ever done in my entire life. And I've done some pretty big projects before. Um, First things first, had to talk to an architect to get a design. Then I had to talk to the city to get a permit once they approved that architect's design. Then I had to get the footers poured for the concrete guys, which is a whole nother process in and of itself. And then I had to do the framing, get that approved. Then I had to get the sheathing done for the exterior of the garage. I almost called it a house because it feels like one sometimes. And um, it was like all these little things that were a massive undertaking, but really weren't that bad when I broke them down into small things. Now, the troubles that I've actually had to deal with that I thought were going to be way easier than I realized was the drywall and the mudding. That was probably the biggest undertaking out of everything because when you've got something this big, they don't just make tools that will just get drywall 13 feet up in the air. I mean, they do, but they're not cheap. And I was trying to do this without literally lighting money on fire. Things that were a lot easier were the wiring, the exterior sheathing. It's just one of those things that, like, I've learned as I've gone on through this whole process that um, anybody can do this. You have to do some reading. You have to make some devotional of, I'm going to do this, and you just make it happen. All right, guys, so that was a quick rundown on the actual garage, also known as the intensive car unit, but let's talk about our first patient. It is a 1993 Chevrolet Corvette that I bought um, for the purpose of SCCA time trials and eventually to get it into road racing classing of some sort or another. Um, I've always loved these cars, much to everybody else's dislike. And you know what? That's fine, whatever. I've got to get the engine out on that one, get it sent out to the machine shop so I can get it sold and onto our next projects or patients, I should say. Um, because the main reason why you guys want to be involved in this show or this channel isn't so much for a 93 Corvette. You want something a little bit more special, a little bit more exciting. And that's where the Quattroporte comes in play and the Subaru Twin comes in play. And you guys will see that here in just a little bit. All right. So if you guys like what you've seen so far, please press the like and subscribe button. We'll have more information on the patients in the future between the Maserati and the Scion. And yeah, we look forward to having you guys here. Any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in the comments.